Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Up and Atom Comics. And just wanted to talk a little bit for this episode on a little bit different subject and talk about HeroesCon and prepping for HeroesCon in particular, but also might be some helpful tips for other larger creator heavy conventions that you might think about going to. I've seen some people get together online for some YouTube shows and trying to talk through heroes, and I know it can seem overwhelming. So I wanted to just provide some tips to that. So I'm going to share my screen real quick here. Okay, so Heroes Con is coming up June 20th through the 22nd, and it's in Charlotte, North Carolina. There is a whole lot to consider in this. They have VIP early bird 3-day passes that are limited to 500. This does get you in about an hour early into the con. If you can swing that price, it's definitely going to be worth it since you would be the first people to get into that. They do give you an exclusive print, a t-shirt, different things like that. So it is and be able to get in early can really help you out with some of these things. But a 3-day pass normally is 75, and then they have different prices for different days if you're only attending one particular day. So if what I thought I would go through here, there is a humongous list of creators that are actually going to be there. Um, and one thing to know is that while this starts on a Friday, they do have the ability to pick up your passes from the convention center on the Thursday. So that can save a little time, especially if you're getting a 3-day pass for that first day. Where normally, if you didn't, you would go in, check in, probably have to wait in a little bit of a line to get your pass. But if you're able to get into Charlotte early on Thursday, they do have that available. I forget the window for that time, but I know at least the afternoon before you can pick up those passes, which can just allow you to just go right on in and get in the line to go into the con. So um, what I and so if you wait or you wait that morning, there is allow yourself a little time to make sure you get your pass, and then there will be a line. There's a separate line that is set up for people for VIP, and then there is a main line that kind of weaves in and out. Um, I have typically in the past not have had um, a VIP pass. So I've typically gotten there um, an hour to 2 hours before, just so that I could be one of the first to get into the con in the main group. But if you wait more or you wait till the time of or things like that, there could be a line to get in, which could delay you getting into the show floor. So just wanted you to know that little piece of information. Um, I thought, I know a lot of people have had some questions about the guest list and lines. And as you can see, I'm going to slowly scroll through here, but look at all of those names. And I will say, based on my experience, um, and I've been to Heroes the last 3 years. Based on my experience, they may not be done with listing everyone. I see they just added 5 names on the 24th after they did a huge announcement on the 20th of a whole bunch of different names, but they may have a few others that might still show up. They haven't said that we're done posting names, so I wouldn't be surprised in the next few weeks if they don't put a few names, and they will more than likely be a little minor names, but it's still something you never know what's going to pop up. Um, I've seen some really great names that have popped up on the at the very end of things. So what I thought I would do is kind of go through some of the creators that I think are going to have some longer lines. Um, some of this might be dependent on how they are being highlighted and represented. Some may be because it's their only time that they've been there, or some could be just from experience from what I have seen, and that they have been at either Heroes or Baltimore, or some of those other big um, creator cons. And when I say creator cons, there's a lot of cons that will focus heavily on celebrities, comic creators, and a big merch floor or having a equal distribution. And this is very heavily creator driven. There will be comic dealers and things like that, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But for the most part, it's definitely for the people that love reading comics, want to meet the creators. That's what kind of Heroes Con is all about. So, first off on the list that I would say is going to be Arthur Adams is going to have probably a little bit of a longer line. I have met him one other time and I had to wait a little while, but not too long. So, I know he's been doing a lot more cons, so that might um, make it a little bit shorter, but I imagine he'll stay pretty busy through the entire con. This year, the two of the big highlights have been uh, Mike and Laura Allred, and they were the first announced people that were going to be there. So I have a feeling just because of that, that they may have a decent sized line. And my guess is typically whoever is the main featured person that they first announce, that's usually who they give a print from for 3 day passes or VIP passes. So there may be some people that just want that piece signed, even if they have nothing else. So that'll probably create a little bit longer line. The next person that I have on my list that I think is going to be longer will be Chris Claremont. And the reason for that, I mean, he's such a big, iconic person, especially with X-Men and New Mutants. But he always has long lines. Part of that is Chris's fault because he does love to talk to every single person. He's even made announcements of, make sure you have some questions when you come up here because I want to talk to each and every one of you. So he will probably spend 5 minutes to 15 minutes possibly with each person. So I know even though I went one year, he was one of the people, and I made like first day, made a beeline to get into his line because of the VIPs that had been before me. I was still waiting a couple of hours before I actually came to be the first person there. So to meet him. So just be prepared. But I found him always to be pleasant. He loves talking to you, likes to find out who your favorite X-Men is or whatever you want to talk about with him. But he will give you some time. It's great to do that, but it's also a little frustrating when you're in line far back and then you're like, oh my gosh, when am I going to actually get to come up there? So bring a chair if you have one, if you're going to be in Chris Claremont's line. The next one, and this is more speculative for me, is Jerry Conway. He's going to be there just 2 days, but this is his first time he's been at HeroesCon. So, because of how many different titles that he was featured on back in the day, I anticipate he will probably have a little bit of a larger line. I'm not sure what that's going to look like, but his I would not be surprised to be long. The next person on my list is David Finch. Um, and David Finch he does a lot of cons, but he's very popular. People love his art. And then he'll do sketches and things like that. So if you were hoping to get sketches or things like that, if you don't hit him first off, just expect to be to be in a line where you might be waiting, an hour to 2 hours before you're next up to talk to him. So, but David is always very genuine and very generous with his time for everybody that's there. So, definitely a good creator to meet if you have a chance. Um, the next person, alphabetically, I would say is Jenny Frison. She is extremely popular with her covers and things that she's done right now. And my experience has been that, like last year when I saw her, she had a decent line throughout the whole day. Part of that I saw was there was a lot of people that were flippers that had long boxes of books to get signed by her, uh, and she would do 5 or 6 for them, but then take on somebody else, before and so there were some people that just stood by her table for an entire day trying to get comics to flip on whatnot or what have you. So be prepared for that. But she is there usually with her husband. Really nice person, but will likely have a long line, and part of that is the resale value of what some people like to get from her. So um, the next I would have on the list of having a little longer line is probably going to be Adam Hughes. Extremely popular. He will post on Facebook his different the times of what he is doing during the different days at the con. So he typically has a few hours, like you might say, from 11 to 12, he's just signing. And then from, uh, 1 to 2, he's doing sketches. So pay attention and look on that Facebook page to look at what his actual schedule will be so that you can plan. If you're thinking about getting sketches, you might have to want to be early before that time window just to ensure that you can get something from him. And he also, his wife, Allison Sohn, is usually there too. And she is, you can do like little profile head sketches. I think are like $125, I think this year, what I saw. But then his wife, for double that price, she will color it, and it really does add a lot to the typical sketch. So if you have that ability, it's definitely one to try to do. But a lot of people just go for the black and white line sketches from Adam Hughes, and they don't bother Allison to do coloring. So his sketches are pretty quick, but he will have more people there wanting a sketch than he'll have time to do them. So plan accordingly. Maybe hit those times a little bit early if you're planning on getting a sketch from him. The next person is still on the same screen is Daniel Warren Johnson. So extremely popular with Transformers. He did do a Power Bomb, Murder Falcon, Extremity, some different things like that. But Transformers has been completely very popular. And the last few years, he has had a really long and consistent line where you'll probably have to wait maybe an hour before you can get up to him. So he's just extremely popular, very nice and talkative people that are in his line. He usually does some pre-con sketches that can be sold at the table, but they'll go kind of to the first people that get there. So keep that in mind. And they're pricey because it's through Felix Comic Art. So they're pricey. But anyway, that's an opportunity. Ron Lim. Ron Lim is my next up. He will also probably have a decent line. Last year, I will say this, I'm not sure what's going to happen this current year, but he was kind of the person I made a beeline for last year because last year was, I think, his first time he'd been to Heroes. Um, and so he had a long line. And then he didn't show up until the afternoon of the first day. Now, that was because his wife was teaching and couldn't get a flight until that time. But I did go to that line and then wonder where he was going to be, and then had to come back later on in the day. I will say, like, he also does some pre-con sketches that can be picked up, or you can get something done. He did mine the same day when I got one from him last year. One of the nicest, has a wonderful laugh. He's just full of joy, loves meeting the fans that are there. So if you have a chance and you have something to get from Ron Lim, definitely worth the time to do that. And then the next one here is John Romita Jr. He, because of the years that he's been in the business, also the notoriety of his dad, he's been a big creator in comics for a while. He will have a long line. He also offers sketches at the table. But one thing to know, if John Romita Jr. is somebody you really want to meet, he is doing. I'm not sure if I don't think they've sold out yet, but he is doing a ticketed event on two of the days, I think on both Saturday and Sunday, where you can pay $250. You can get a head sketch, get a few books signed, get to meet him, different things like that. And then one of those people from the total of the 2 days, I think it's like 1 in 60 chance you can get a big full size Spider-Man sketch, I think is what he's doing for that. So if you want to save time and have a book time for him, that might be an option for you. Um, and then Roy Thomas, he will have a very long line. A lot of people, so big in the 70s with all the stuff that he did. He will have a very long line and um, expect to be like a Chris Claremont to be like a couple hours that you might be in line unless you make a beeline for him right away. So those are a couple that I would probably suggest, make a beeline for if you can, right when you get in. And just, if that's a priority for you, knock that out kind of first thing. And then the last person I think that will have usually has an incredibly long line no matter where he is, Scotty Young, so popular with his uh, child cartoony covers that are out there, and also I Hate Fairyland. But Scotty Young usually always has a big line, and he will have. He usually doesn't do any sketching during the con, but he'll just have an incredibly long line of people that, there's a lot of people that just collect Scotty Young covers. So he will work on getting all those things done. He usually has a ton of stuff to buy at his table as well. But expect, an hour to 2 hours of a line to meet Scotty Young. So those are the people that I think that you would have a long time to wait for. Everybody else, because there are so many there, um, you're not going to have to wait too long. So most of the people, you should be able to go right up to the table and may have to wait a couple of people while they're still talking to somebody. But most of the time, you're going to be able to hop to person other than that. So these are the ones I think that are going to have some they're going to cramp on your time that you're spending. So if you're thinking about just coming for one day, I have done Heroes in one day. It was so overwhelming, and I ran out of time. So hopefully you have a multi-day pass if you're thinking about getting a lot of things done. Some general, I'll stop sharing the screen here. Some general advice for people. If you are looking for trying to get a sketch done, which is something, it's usually a big priority on my behalf, is trying to get a sketch done or something in a jam piece or something like that. I typically find the best success for that is especially for some decent bigger names, would probably be to try to line that up first thing. So if you're planning on getting any sketching, I would try to line that up on Friday. I found a lot of people that on Saturday or on Sundays, their list may be full and they don't have time to do that. after that. So I would try to line it up Friday. Sometimes they'll do it in their hotel room overnight or over the next few days. They'll take a limited list. And so you can find those lists fill up very fast. So if you're a VIP and you can get into some of those lines, that can make a big difference. I'll give you one example. Steve Epting, a couple of years ago, I went, ran to his table almost right when the doors opened. It was pretty early in the line. I was the first person I think that was let in that actually, in the main grouping, that got to his table. He took my name down, but he says, I can't make any promises right now. And I saw that I was like, it's somewhere between like 15 to 18 down. And that's how many people that had come, could be other uh, creators or other people on booths that had been there longer or VIP people. That's how many people that came and asked him before me. And ultimately, even through the Sunday, he couldn't get it done. He didn't have the time to get that many of them done. So again, some of those bigger names, and Steve Epting isn't one that I said you'd have a long time to wait to see him and talk to him, but to get a sketch might be a little bit of a different story. So definitely plan if you're thinking about doing any of those things on the Friday to try to set them up. If you're going to be there all 3 days, that may help your chances. But sometimes if you're only there for one day, talk to them and ask them like, hey, if a lot of times the creators will be sitting there drawing during the day. So they try to get a few of those things knocked out. So I've even had some luck where it's during the same day that I've been able to go back and pick up something. So it kind of depends, but talk to them if you're interested in that. Um, Wanted to point out one thing on prices. The Heroes does this, which is such a nice benefit, but on their HeroesCon Facebook page, they actually put a listing. They they ask all of the different creators what they're planning on charging for different things, and they'll put that document out there, and that's so helpful because it'll normally, if they respond, not everybody responds. You probably get I'd say maybe about a quarter of the people respond, but still that's helpful information. But they'll tell you how much they're charging for signatures, if there's a different price for a CGC signature, if there's anything with personalization, maybe sketch prices as well for different things. So they will update that document periodically. I don't think they've put it out there yet this year, but that's usually something that they take on. Usually about a month before they start listing some of that information, but it does help you financially prepare for what you might want to bring or what things cost. Another useful resource that I do is also on Facebook. There's a sketch prices Facebook group that you can join, and you can do a search, and people put how much they've paid for signatures or sketches or things like that, that you can actually, and I'll put a link to those Facebook pages down below in YouTube. But those things are very helpful to try to help budget and figure out like, should I get 5 books signed, or is this one going to cost, if they charge $25 a signature or something, maybe only bring one. So it can kind of help a lot in the preparation for all of that. Some general information also I think is helpful is trying to figure out food and parking, and some of that. A lot of people, the host hotel is the Westin, which is just right next to the convention center, which is really convenient. But if you are parking elsewhere, there usually is parking. There's a few parking decks that I found are not crazily expensive, maybe like $15 for the day. You can also park in the NASCAR Hall of Fame parking lot, which is very convenient, and they have just a daily charge. So there is parking really close by. And there is also some food options, within a couple of blocks, if you wanted to go to restaurants around in that area. They do have some vending, I mean, some food options within the convention center. There's usually a place that does like, uh, kind of like if you would think about like sporting events, concessions. So where you have like pizza, burgers, hot dogs, chips, drinks, that kind of thing. You can usually and they're reasonably priced. Nothing's too crazily expensive. I've gotten lunch there for $8 to $10 while I'm there, but that's very convenient to be able to do that. Um, and but there are places nearby for lunch and dinner as well at restaurants and things like that. But if you're part of the ramen and White Claw group that might be attending, try to keep things cheap as possible. The food at the show is actually pretty affordable. The last year they added so many creators, they actually didn't have places to sit. So a lot of people just kind of hug up against the wall and while they're eating their hot dogs or whatever. So that might it looks like that's going to be the case for this upcoming year as well. But just stay tuned to see if they have like a little separate area for dining and things like that. A couple of other things I just wanted to mention. The first night, the Friday night of HeroesCon, they do a big event called Drink and Draw. And so what they have is they have a place in the Westin Hotel that has they have a bar there. They also have a band, and they have sent little coasters to a lot of the different artists and creators that are going to be there. Um, and they might draw on them, and they have a big, a charity table to contribute. But they also have the option where you can buy your own coaster while you're there for $1. And then they have uh, like pens and ink and all kinds of stuff so that you can actually draw on them yourself. And then when people are done, they take their coaster or whatever, or piece of paper, whatever they brought, and they take it up to the table to sell for charity. And it's definitely something where you can get some, and some of them are bigger pieces that are donated, some full 11 by 17s, you know, original art pages, different things like that could be there. And those are just sold with a given price. They usually have a one price for like $5, $10, $20 for different art pieces. And so you might get, I know some of the previous years, like I saw like Walt Simonson did some Thors and Beta Ray Bills and things like that. And they were like, you know, $20 or something like that. Or Bill Morrison did some Simpsons characters, for pretty cheap. So you can get a nice little piece of art, give to charity as well. And that event kind of goes on throughout the night. And also some of the artists that are there will come there in the evening and just hang out. So I've had some of the creators I've gotten to know. I've just sat at the table with them, watch them draw or draw with them or whatever, and have a great conversation. So definitely don't miss out on the Drink and Draw charity event. And then the Saturday night, um, some pieces have been donated that are bigger ticketed items that are also being raised for charity. And they do a big auction on Saturday night for those, which if you have more money to spend and you want to go to an auction for bidding for some bigger pieces, that's another great thing to take advantage of. So I wanted to highlight those couple events. Because a lot of people tend to miss out on them, but I've found that they're a lot of fun and you can really get some great things there. So, excuse me one second. Just need to get some there. We have a lot of crazy pollen here in Virginia, so it's affecting me big time. Um, but I am not going to be able to go to Heroes this year. Um, have a lot of personal things going on right now, so it's not going to be possible for me to attend. But I did want to share this information out to those that are to hopefully get your head around about what the preparation is going to be like and try to give you some advice to do that. So I hope you can go to Heroes and have a great time. And when you're done, I'd love it if you came back and put a little comment on this video and just let me know what you're able to pick up. Or if any of this house is helpful, or if you want to ask about somebody else, another creator or something, and what I would think, put something in the comments, and I'll do some research or let you know my opinion for what I have found in the past. I've been to several of these, also been to Baltimore for many years, so a lot of these big creator events. I'm pretty familiar with. So, anyway, until next time, thanks so much for joining in. Feel free to like and subscribe. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you thought. And thanks so much. And make sure you flip through a floppy. We'll see you next time. Take care.